Welcome back. So before we watch the other dog, um, I'm going to show you some of mine. And when I say mine, I mean pets that I've messed around with recently. My dogs are all retired or over the rainbow. But I wanted to go over a few things, and I know talking about the nose and the box is going to rattle a few cages, but I am my father's daughter. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have its place. It does. I just use it in a different part of the training. Um, Once I've built the searching behavior and built the understanding, the contingency of that reinforcer, then I use the box to build the final response. Um, because that way I'm not really having them, that way I know that I've already built them using their nose first into them, and this is just afterthought. um in fact, I was, when I was gonna go back to canine, I looked at my friend and I was like, hey, that's a really nice wall. It's like, he's like, yeah, your dad built it. And I was like, then it's mine. And he goes, no, 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 no. He said, I made a lot of modifications. Your dad used coffee cans and soup cans. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like my dad. That's My dad was very resourceful. He would use, and you'll see me even when I train, you'll see me, like, if I'm trying to get the dog to understand something, you'll see me going like this. And the owners are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'll know it when I see it. And then I'll grab something. That's what because whenever a dog's not doing something, and this is the same with scent work, you always have to ask yourself, what am I telling this dog, or what am I not telling this dog to get them to understand? Like, I've had lessons where I'm teaching two dogs at once, and I'm teaching both of them the exact same behavior, and I have to teach it in two completely different ways. And that's why, and I used science for both of them. I just used two different forms. And that's why, understanding science is very important, but remembering that it's a guide, not an instruction manual, is even more important. Now with scent work is a little more different. It's a little more simple, I guess you could say, because it only comes down to one thing: discriminative stimulus, response, stimulus, consequence, odor, go to source, final response, get paid, and then schedule for reinforcement. um, so that's why you have to be really careful how you build that, and make sure you are building it, because my dad used to always tell me, and I always stick with this, is, what are you really reinforcing? And that's why he was so big on record keeping, because a lot of times officers and even trainers, I'm going to show you videos where I make mistakes. I mean, I've been doing this 30 years, and you know I made a rookie mistake on this two videos, actually. um, and you always have to watch for, what am I reinforcing? What am I telling this dog? Because these dogs, they go off of, you'd be surprised what they pick up on. um, I was commenting on something earlier today, and I said, I was talking about, and with the competitions, when those judges know where those aids are, they can slow their breathing, or move their hand to mark something down, or There's lots of things that those judges can do, and those dogs notice it. And then instead of looking for odor, or if they smell odor, if they think they smell odor, they're not really smelling. They're not searching. They're looking at that judge. Oh, the judge moved. Okay, I missed something. So here are some dogs and some explanations of what I'm talking about. And this is by no means, the full thing on training detector dogs, but this is just a little bit of what I'm talking about and why a final response is so important, which is the biggest thing that's lacking in competitive scent work. Final response. That's why it's not about the dog. The U.S. Supreme Court says that a well-trained dog will announce the presence or absence of these specific odors. The dog will announce the presence or absence. I'll say that one more time. The dog will announce the presence or absence. Without a final response, a clear, consistent final response, that dog isn't making the decision. The handler is. And you'll see in these videos, and you see them in all the videos, where the owner, the handler, the trainer, they go on their gut sometimes. You've got one of the experts in the competitive scent work field who talks about the 5 types of false responses. There's only one kind of false response, and that is when the dog goes to final response and the target odor is not present. They talk about things like the blurt, which is where you think your dog's an odor and you call it too soon. That's not a false response. It's a handler error. Dog had nothing to do with that. Or the contrived find. Again, that's not the dog. That's you. That's a handler error. Or the Hail Mary. Can you imagine trying to throw a Hail Mary in court saying that dog's reliable? Basically the Hail Mary is, you've got 10 seconds left and you think the dog's an odor and you think there's one more find and you just say alert and you're wrong. Well, you should have listened to your dog. So what do I say when I mean to take away their eyes? This is Kuma. He's 13 weeks and I do scent work games with all of my clients. It's great, it's great enrichment. It wears them out. It works them physically. It works them mentally. It's great for all kinds of. This is Kuma. He's 13 weeks old and he is learning searching behavior.
Seek. Go find him. Seek. Go. Seek. Go on. Seek. Good job. Seek. Go on. Seek. Seek. Yes. Good job. There you go. So there's not much wind blowing, so the puppy really doesn't have a lot to go off of. But their searching behavior is pretty intense. Oh, starting to get the outer line ones. There you go. There you go. Oh, yes. There we go. Good job. Good job. You can actually hear him smelling. Where's it at? Seek. Look, seek. Seek. Oh, there it is. Nice throat change. Nice change throat. Right there. I'm gonna go Seek. Go Seek. Come and Seek. Go Seek. Go find it. Seek. Over there. Good girl. Good boy. Seek. Go.
A little bugger can smell, huh? He, you know, I had him doing it just for fun. And when I saw him do it, I was like, I asked the owner, I was like, can I please have some fun? She was like, sure. So this is Kuma the next week. This is a reel that I made. It was raining outside, and you know, we were done with the lesson, so I grabbed the tins, and I kind of made up I did, you know, someone on Facebook, they were like, oh, you may have contrived a game. And I was like, no, I took a 14-week-old puppy and I paired odor. And I called it Follow the Queen, because as I was moving the tins, because he's so little, I needed to have him nearby so I can bounce that treat off. And so as I was moving, I was going, follow the queen, follow the queen, follow the queen. And I was like, where's your lady? And then he'd go, and I'd tell him Seek, and he'd go and find it. And with these, you know, I've got like at least six tins out. And so he's already learned searching behavior to use his nose. And he knows when I say Seek that he's searching. So yes, he's somewhat using his eyes, but he's using his nose first. And because there are so many tins, he has to go to each one of them and go, this is it. This is the one. He'll hold his nose there. I bounce the treat off there towards the end. He's even putting his paw on it, going, this is it. This one right here. This is it. There's no question of what he is responding to. He is not putting his nose on one specific one over and over in the same area. It is dynamic, and it is contingency based. He has to find that odor. That's the only way for him to get his reinforcement. "14 weeks carrying odor and doing it with moving tins, not just the same ones over and over, not putting their nose into a box. And you could see he was trying to see where I was putting it. And there were times he would get close to it and I'd move it. And I'd move it again. I'd move a couple of them. But he would get it every time. He had it. And you could see he was even putting his paw on it. That is a dog that's understanding discriminative stimulus response, stimulus consequence. When I smell that, I get my reinforcer. But I have to smell that. So next we have Gunner. Gunner, he loved a ball and I couldn't resist. So this was Gunner's first introduction to odor. The odor's in the gas cap. And he's smelling. He's looking at that ball like, hey, I'm smelling. But he's not noticing the odor. I actually ended up dropping the ball on accident. But look, he's like, hey, I was right by it. I'm, because I don't want sniffing behavior. I want him to recognize it. He's not understanding right there what it means. This is his first time to interact with it. And there, I dropped the ball. This is a little bit later. Starting to teach him search pattern. I always go to cars first. There, he's thrown a change, and I bounce the ball off. I always go to cars first because, once again, I'm taking away their eyes, but also there's airflow. There's all kinds of crevices for him to stick his nose in. And what's going to lead him to stick his nose in those crevices is odor. Go all the way to source. He smells it. Then you see him get his nose right on the aid. So he's learning his search pattern. And right there, he's already an odor. There's this change. And I want him going right to source. Now here, I make a mistake, a big one that can really mess up a dog's training. The aid is in the door seam. Watch me. You see what I'm doing? I stopped moving. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. She stopped moving. So he gets to source on his own. He does throw a change. You watch. He throws a change. But watch him. He goes right past it. He goes right past it. And I step back. And he looks at me like, wait a minute. What did I? Okay, I missed something. Okay, what did I miss? Oh, there it is. Oh, I smell it. And I actually didn't realize this till I watched the video. I was telling the person that was videoing, I said, oh my God. And she said, what? And I said, I cued the dog. She's like, what do you mean? I said, watch me. I actually posted that video, asked if people saw my mistake, and trainers that had been training for decades didn't find it. So here it's actually in the door seam. He's an odor. So I know they don't do door seams in competitive scent detection. And actually, this is day one for him. So doing a door seam's, I guess showing off a little bit, but
Okay, the aid is on the other side of the vehicle. Since I don't have someone helping me, he's gonna have to do stuff a lot more on his own. But I'm hoping he's gonna pick it up from this side. I'm hoping with the wind blowing into us, it's on the other side of the car. I'm hoping he's gonna pick it up from this side. Oh, he just picked it up. Good boy. Oh, good boy. We hadn't even started searching, and he picked it up. I knew that wind would get it. Good boy. Lesson number 2. Problem number 1. Didn't even have to present. Picked it up from the other side of the car. Attaboy, Gunner. Attaboy. Attaboy. Good job.
That was the second session. And, he hadn't even been told to search yet. And that discriminative stimulus showed up. And, I was talking to a young trainer the other day that they had asked me, they talked about me coming out and doing a couple dogs just for one odor. It was funny. My friend called and she goes, "How fast can you pair odor?" An hour, 30 minutes. She goes, "On a 10-month-old puppy?" I said, "I can do it on a 10-week-old puppy." And then they explained what they needed, and it was not. Anyways, so I was talking to one of the trainers, and we were talking about scent work, the beginnings of scent work, and he was talking about how the wall, and having them, that you have to put them on the wall first before you go to cars, because you have to teach them to go high and low. And I'm like, no, if they understand discriminative stimulus response, stimulus consequence, if they understand that when I smell odor, I go to source, I get reinforced, they'll go high on their own. I said, what you're talking about is more like rule governed behavior instead of contingency governed or contingency based, which, like I said earlier, don't just read about Skinner, read Skinner. This is The Contingencies of Reinforcement, my favorite book by him. I've read it 4 times. I actually got this original one on eBay. I found it. See, I got all my little tabs. And he talks about rule governed, where it's very cold. It's very robotic. Kind of like doing the wall. Smell up, put your nose up here, smell. Put your nose down here, smell. Put your nose up here. Going up and down in the holes because they have to, instead of, I smell that smell. Where is it? Going up on their own. Because I told them, I was like, you don't have to do that. If they understand in the odor, they're going to do it on their own. And again, that starts messing with they're only going to be as much as what's in that hole, as opposed to like what you saw there. Gunner, the aid was on the other side of the car. Gunner caught a whiff of it and went around. His threshold is already lower. He's already starting off ahead. Now, this is the same lesson. And let's just watch this one first. So this is still the second session. The aid is in the white Land Rover. And the way the wind is blowing is it's actually blowing the odor right there against that tire. It's kind of pooling right there. And this is only being his second session. He's, so I go ahead and he's, not really giving a strong indication. He's not trying to work it back to source. So I go ahead and get him to keep searching. And, he's going, and he goes to the other side of the car again, because that wind is kind of blowing it. It's changed directions. It's blowing it against the car. And you can see his head up. See, he's going up high on his own. It's just the odor's pooling right there in that area. And then he goes, whoa, nope, there it is. Gets his nose on source, and there we go. He gets reinforced. Now, at this point, the wind had shifted from, it was now blowing towards the house. As you can see, I put the 8 up in the hood. So it's blowing towards the house. I go ahead and start the search pattern down, below, and up, and he has caught odor. He is in odor. I'm not saying anything to him at this point. I'm just watching. Up on his own, up on his own, up on his own. So as you can see, he picked it up from another car and he went up on his own because he smelled it and was like, okay, I need to get to source. And he's never seen a wall. And so you'll see in this next video, this was Gunner's, I believe, 4th session, and he was starting to work with Marin. Marin is the daughter of the owners, and she had talked about wanting to possibly learn to handle him and compete him. So, we were having a session together, and I was standing there and I was like, you know what? I was like, you can do your AKC one virtually right now. And I misread the rules. I thought the rules said you could find something as simple as a ball, treat, or toy. So we just made a couple of videos of Gunner finding odor. When we were turning the stuff in, I reread the rules and it said you have to find a ball, treat, or toy. So, well, here's what happened. All right, we're going to go in here. All right. Going to hide his ball. And I hide the ball in the couch. Right. Now, I've forgotten that there was an aide on the island. Okay, in Marin. The kitchen. Oh, shit. So she comes out. Yeah. He's searching. Where's that? Find it. Good boy. And she tries to get him to go to the couch, and he goes, wait a minute. I smell that. I smell it. Odor. He's an she's calling odor. His name. I'm like, he's an odor. And that arrows where's the A down. It's like, he's an odor. He's an actual odor. Yes, good boy. And I forgot. And so I run over and throw the ball once he gets his nose on it. He was, here was Marin trying to get him to find his ball. And he's like, no, I smell that smell. I'm going over there. She was trying to call him, oh, Gunner. And I'm like, no, he's an odor. We can't let him work it. And again, he went high on his own. He's never seen a wall. He just knows odor. And so, and we actually, what we had to do, in order to get him to find the ball, treat, and toy, we had to put odor out. Like, even when we put just the treat out, he went right by it. And he was like, because I was telling him seek, we were telling him seek, and he's like, kept going like, I don't smell it. So we had to put odor out. And he smelled the odor, and even with the treat, he smells the odor and he looks back like, where's my ball? I don't want this treat. I want my ball. So, that's 4 sessions. 4 sessions, and he's already not even listening to his handler, picking and going, I forget you. I smell it. It's over here. So that, when I was talking to that handler, I was like, that trainer, I was like, I asked it, I said, have you ever heard of Common Core? And he goes, yeah. I said, it doesn't work. I said, why? And he's like, because he put too many steps in. And I said, well, you're doing Common Core scent detection. You don't need that many steps. If you do it right, if you build it right, if you build that right, you don't need all those steps, because the dog's going to understand odor. Now this is Ellie. This is my dog. And she, when we got her, was not looking for a working dog. I swore I'd never get a dog from a pet store. And my daughter, she had been wanting a dog for her birthday, and it was her birthday. And we actually had gone to take a self-defense class. They had a self-defense class early in the morning at one of the athletic wear stores for women. So we went and did that. And then she's like, Mom, can I go pet the puppies? And okay. And, I look over and they're all supposed to be 8 weeks and stuff. And 8 to 10 weeks. And I was like, that dog's at least 12 weeks. And they said, yeah, someone brought her back. And I was like, and so, we got her out just because I felt bad. She was all squinched up in that thing. So, and Caitlin started crying. That's what she wanted. And I tested her, as a pet. She tested fine. So my dad happened to be in town. I said, hey, Dad, can you come up here to the mall and test this puppy? Mall? I said, yeah. Caitlin wants this one. So he comes up and he tests her. She won't make a drug dog. She won't make a detector dog. I said, Daddy, I'm not looking for a working dog. I'm looking for a pet. And he goes, she'll make a street dog. She'll do patrol. And I was like, I'm not looking for a working dog, Dad. I'm looking for a pet. Oh, yeah, she can be a pet, but she won't be no detector dog. But she'll do patrol. She'll be fine with patrol. So, and Ellie was trained very sloppily. I'll admit. She is very sloppily trained. But even with sloppy training, she still, when I make mistakes, which you're about to see, she holds her own.
That was my mistake. Good girl. I swear you gotta trust your dog. Good girl. She's like, there's nothing there. Why are you making me research it? That was a handler error.
So, Ellie hadn't searched in like a month. And I thought it was in the center plant box. And I represented, which is a no-no. My dad would have killed me. And you hear me say to the camera, I guess it's a miss. I mean, because she was sitting there. She gets up there and she's just like, I smelled. There's something here. What do you want me to do? And I say, okay, I guess it's a miss. And then I get her going again. And it was the next box. And it was an odor that she had only done once before. So that was the other. But that's when you know you've stupid proofed your dog, when you screw up and they don't. She may not be a street dog, but she was like, I'm not responding. There's nothing there. So, and with competition, one of the biggest things they say is that, they say you don't have to have a trained final response. They also say it's not a false response if you don't call alert. Excuse my language. A false response is when the dog goes to final response and the target odor is not present. The dog goes to final response and target odor is not present. Just because you decide not to call alert in a competition doesn't mean it didn't happen. And you not acknowledging it doesn't mean your dog didn't false respond. And they say, oh, we can tell when they're an odor. We can tell. They throw a change and, they go all the way, they smell. Dogs will show all kinds of behaviors when they are an odor. When they smell something, it could be odor. It could be something that smells just like odor. Dryer sheets, money, something that they usually encounter when they smell actual drugs. Or it could just be something interesting. That's why you have a final response. Because the dog then goes, nope, that's not it. It's not what I'm looking for. So in this video, I was about to teach Ellie a new odor. And instead, I decided to use it as a distracting odor. I wanted to see, because they smell very similar, the 4 oils. I wanted to see if she would generalize and respond, because if she did, that's an error in my training. Here we go. It's actually blowing away from that water main. So, let's go, Zeke. Come on, Zeke. She's going to have to really smell. Oh. So this is a new odor for her. Ellie, here. Ellie, here. That was textbook. She threw a change. She threw a change hard. And she went all the way to source. She went up. Ellie's never seen a wall in her life. She wouldn't know a wall if it hit her in the head. A scent wall. She went up. She got her nose right on it and went, nope, that's not it. Kept moving. That is textbook. That is discriminative stimulus, response, stimulus, consequence. That was not her discriminative stimulus. Smelled just like it. Enough for her to go, oh, and then go, nope, that's not it. Off I go. That's why you need a final response. A rookie handler would have thought she was an odor. Look how hard she threw a change. She went right to it. A rookie handler would have been like, alert. That's why you let the dog make the call. So, Ellie, I have a friend that he's an assistant principal at a school. He let me take Ellie up there to do some work, and Afterwards, I made a video of it, and as a joke, and I said, Conroe ISD's newest nose is almost ready, and he sent it to the canine officer for the school district, and they thought they were getting a new dog, and he goes, "No, this is my friend's dog. She's just a pet." But we were hiding. He didn't tell me, but he was hiding it. He goes, "I'm gonna hide it where they find stuff." And he goes, "A lot of times the dogs don't find it. I find it." And so he was hiding stuff, and Ellie was hitting it. She was hitting it from far away too. So this was her at the school. And this is another reason you wait for the final response. You got to let them work the odor. You'll see here, she takes a while, but she gets to it. It's in the key holder by the door. Now it's way up there on that window. There. She throws a change. She's an odor. The wind is blowing towards the building. You notice she keeps going up high because that's where the odor's at. And she's like, "No, I don't smell it right here." So she goes back to where it's the strongest, and she works her way back. He is a handler. I know if my dog's struggling like that, I need to get her closer to the building. Now the odor's in the flagpole on the other side of the building. The wind's blowing towards the building. There, she picks it up. There she goes towards the flag. Back, forth. The wind is blowing towards the building, so she's working it back and forth.
It's probably blowing out from underneath the Dasani.
So I want her going to source. The Dasani vent's blowing it out from underneath. Now here, it's inside the toilet paper holder. I go to present the beginning corner. She goes right past me. She's already in odor. So no, she is not anything I would put on the street, but she is better than some that I have seen on the street, sadly. But her trained final response is to sit. And when she went under that bathroom door, she couldn't. She wanted to let me know, hey, it's here, but she wasn't going to leave source either. So she just put her head. She was sitting, put her head underneath, like, hey, it's in here. It's in here. That's what a trained final response does. The dog tells you where it's at. And that's what's missing. The biggest part that's missing in these scent competitions is the dog telling us where it's at. And you're going to see how that not only affects the dog, it affects other handlers. And it basically makes the dog a prop. And, you know, they had their PCD rate, which is percent correct detection. These dogs are running at a PCD rate of about 50%, meaning you have just as good of a chance of flipping a coin and saying, I think there's something there, and flipping a coin and getting it right. And then you're going to see where I think we should go from there. But, you know, that's a little bit of an insight in how I do it and how easy it is to, you know, have a dog. I mean, Ellie is by no means street quality. And I haven't put Luna on there, but, you know, Luna, when I was originally going to do this a while back ago, it was before I knew even that the competitions exist. I was training her on oregano, and, you know, I needed a green dog. And so I took one of my client's dogs that she happened to live across right on the other side of the road. So it was easy. And I didn't get much footage by session number 6. Well, yeah, let's just look at Luna.
This is Luna. She's just a puppy when we did this video. And because she's quite distracted. I start her with boxes. As soon as I see she takes a good whiff, she's trying to understand. Like I said, she's a pup. She smell. Oh, what's that? What's that? Okay, reinforce. First time that she smells the oregano. Here, she's still being a puppy. She's still all around. Smells. Oh, wait, I know that. Okay, I'm getting this. Yeah, remember, this is just a pet. But I take her immediately to cars. I want eyes out of the pictures as soon as possible. And she puts her nose right on it. Well, right here, you're going to see her head. Boom. It's the first time odor just hits her right in the face. She's like, wait, I smell it. And you can see her. She's going ahead of me now. She's like, okay, I smell it. And there she goes, right to source. On this day it was raining, so we had to do boxes. So this was her first time to be like, hey, this is really it. I really wanted her to say, yes, this is it. And then this next one, she doesn't even she's just like, forget the other boxes. I smell it. Take me over here. This is it. No ice. Just odor. She doesn't even look at the boxes mean nothing to her. It's just odor that she's looking for. And here, well, you see that black plastic trash bag. I had cleaned out my old aids and forgot that I left them there. As you can see, she's all over them. And then I forget, so I'm like, no, over here. And she's like, no, I smell it. But then she smells the other aid. Tell her sit. And that's her first time to learn final response with going to source. Mind you, we're like on lesson number 3. Now here, she's gotten her final response down, but now the odor is in my training bag. I got leashes, treats, toys, tons of dog smells. She's doing her search pattern. She's learning. Where I present, she searches. And you can see here she passes me. She doesn't even wait for me to present. She's like, oh, here it is. Right here. Again, no eyes. Just nose. And this is session number 5. Going along. She's doing her search pattern on the wall. Like she's supposed to. You gotta remember, this is in selfie mode, so we're actually on the left side of the wall. And she's like, nope, it's over here. I don't need to search over there. It's right here. She just kind of went along and she's like, oh, yep, I smell it, so let's move on. Not knowing odor to recognizing and having a final response. 5 sessions. This is Luna.
So there you have it. Those are some of the dogs that I have worked with just in the last, year. I actually brought Luna back a couple weeks ago. She hadn't searched in a year. Taught her a new odor in a matter of minutes. But it's, and maybe because I've been doing this for a while, it's not that hard. And I see these Noseworks classes being taught, and it's so broken down. And I understand some dogs are going to move slower than others. There's a girl that she does scent work competitions, and she's like, yeah, but Jessica, you're training them. Of course you're moving them along faster. And I'm like, well, but, with the right information, of course you're not going to be doing it in 6 sessions, but you don't have to wait a month. Like, these things are like 6 weeks long, and they're barely even pairing odor. And, in 6 weeks, I can have these dogs, these handlers, way further. And we should want them way further, because you put all these steps in and you've got the dog confused, you've got the handler confused. There's so much confusion. So that's a little bit of insight of how I work. Granted, none of these are, they're pets. They're exactly what are supposed to be in these competitions. And they're doing it just fine without all these fancy equipment. Just straight training, straight knowing what you're teaching the dog, making sure that the dog understands. From there, it's gravy. It's easy. At that point, it's record keeping, making sure you don't make mistakes. At the beginning, you teach that right, everything else just falls into place. And that's these people are paying all this money for these classes that get them nowhere. And not only do they get them nowhere, they prepare them poorly for the next step. And we can do better as trainers, instructors. If they don't know, then they can learn. And, one of them does stuff for the USPCA, and I was listening to him on a podcast, and they were like, yeah, I was working my dog for bomb work, and I realized in the middle of the search that he's got a threshold problem. You realize in the middle of working your dog for bombs that he has a threshold problem. Okay, let's dissect that just a little bit. First of all, you don't realize threshold issues except in your records, because threshold, okay, for what odor, for what amount of odor, in what container, in an odor that's been in this amount, then been out for this amount of time, odor that is in this area, odor that is indoors, that is outdoors. And you've got over 12 odors. So to say your dog has a threshold problem in the middle of training randomly. And this person does stuff for the USPCA, which shocks me because that just tells me that they're not keeping their record. They're not doing any kind of record keeping. And they're guessing. My dog has a threshold problem. That's not something that you find out just randomly in training. That's in your records. And this is, it's something that's, scarily still happening in the canine world. But, for civilians, we don't have to worry about bombs blowing up. But, let's not take these people's money. If we're going to take their money, let's give them something that's worth their value. They're going to actually learn something. So I'm going to show you a search on the next video. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break down how it affects everybody. And then we'll talk about where we can go from there. Because this is something that's wonderful to do. And people aren't going to want to do it anymore, but not because they're not good at it, because they're being given the wrong information. And that's sad, because it is a wonderful thing to do. I'll see you in the next video.